Hi everyone, thanks for being here. For those of you who are new here, my name's Charlene, and to anybody that's come back from a previous video, thanks so much for being here. Today we're going to be talking about The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. So this is a book that's been doing the rounds on TikTok and BookTok, YouTube, BookTube, all of that. It's a very, very popular book, and I'm going to be doing a very quick, no spoilers review about this book today. So this book is a thriller. It's 328 pages, just checking my notes. It's a Sunday Times bestseller, and my personal rating of this book was 3.5 out of 5. I looked on Goodreads and I think it had an average of 4.3 or 4.4, something like that. So my rating is a little bit below the average, but I'm going to give you a really quick review without giving away any spoilers as to why I've given it that rating. So I'm going to give a very brief overview of the plot, but like I said, no spoilers, so don't worry about it if you haven't read the book yet. So this book follows the story of our main protagonist called Millie. Millie is a young woman who has fallen on particularly bad times. I'm not going to go into why, obviously, but there are reasons. She does have her own very detailed backstory as to why she's come to be in this position. She has become homeless, or she's living in her car, so she's pretty much homeless, and she is in absolute desperate need of finding a home and a job as quickly as possible. And wouldn't you know it, something comes up. So Millie sees a job advert that seems absolutely perfect for her. It's got a good salary, it's obviously a good job, or as good as she needs, and it also provides accommodation. So this job that she sees advertised is a live-in job, and so she goes on to the interview, and the book starts there really. So the story starts with Millie having her interview, and she's having her interview with the lady of the house. Very, very big house, by the way. She can tell straight away that they're a very wealthy family, who's called Nina Winchester. Nina comes across as a lovely, wealthy, very well-to-do, well-put-together woman, and they hit it off very well at first. So at first Nina and Millie hit it off really well, and Millie is super desperate and very keen to get this job. And at first, when we're reading the beginning chapters of the book, it seems very much like Nina, who is the wife, her husband Andrew and daughter Cecilia are the perfect family unit, and they have just got it completely made. They're wealthy, they're lovely, they're loving together, but we know that this is a thriller, so it's not going to be as simple as that. The story then follows Millie in her new job, and we follow her on her journey into her new job and all of the crazy things that it entails, her very strange living arrangements, and also we are with her as she uncovers some of the secrets about the characters and family members in this book. This story is a classic thriller, and it's full of twists and turns. It's really good at making sure that when you think you know what's going on, you really don't have a clue, and just as you think you're up to speed where the story is going, it takes another dramatic twist, and it's something that you would never have thought of. So I'm going to talk about characters quickly. That was a very brief overview of the plot. Obviously, I don't want to go into too much depth and give anything else away, but that's like a very brief overview of where the book starts, and I think that that's really nothing more than what you can get from the blurb. Shall I just quickly read you the blurb actually? So it says, "Every day I clean the Winchesters' beautiful house, I collect their daughter from school, and I cook a delicious meal for the whole family before heading up to eat alone in my tiny room on the top floor. I try to ignore how Nina Winchester makes a mess just to watch me clean it up, how she tells strange lies about her own daughter, and how her husband seems more broken every day. But it's hard not to imagine what it would be like to live Nina's life. The walk-in closet, the fancy car, the perfect husband. I only try on one of Nina's pristine white dresses once, but soon she finds out. By the time I realise my bedroom door locks only from the outside, it's far too late. But the Winchesters don't know who I really am. They don't know what I'm capable of." So that's what's on the blurb, and that is kind of a good starting point. There is so much more to it than that. Anyway, I was just saying that I was going to some of the characters. So there aren't too many characters in this book, which I actually really loved, because sometimes I can struggle to keep up if there's loads and loads of different characters. I'm thinking, God, who's who? But there were kind of like a handful of core characters, and I really liked that, because also I felt like I got to know the characters really well. I got to build up a really good idea of who they are, what they look like, and just everything about them in my mind. And I really love that when I can really fully picture the people in the story. So characters, the main characters, we'll start off with Millie. Obviously, like I said, she's our main protagonist. She is a young lady who gets the job, and you learn that she's got a bit of a shady backstory, which is why she's so very desperate to get this job and accommodation. And she, the story is told from her perspective. So basically, as she goes along and she finds out more and more information and secrets about all of these characters, we're finding out with her. So I would say about 95% of the book is written from Millie's perspective. Secondly, we have Nina Winchester. Nina is, I would say, the secondary main character. She is a huge character in the book. She is well-to-do, she's sophisticated, she's well put together, she's got blonde hair, she wears all white or all neutral clothes, and in my head I had kind of pictured her to be someone looking something like Gwyneth Paltrow or something like that. For me, Nina was my favourite character in the book, I think, because she, in my opinion, was the most well-rounded character. We find out the most about her throughout the book, and I felt like her character development was much stronger than anybody else's. She's a very complex character. You know, every time you read about her, she's basically got a different character trait. But it all makes sense, it all ties together, and you find out so much about her, and for those reasons Nina was my favourite character. So Nina is the wife of the household, the lady of the household, the wife and the mother to the little girl Cecilia. So then we have Andrew Winchester. So Andrew is obviously Nina's husband. He is a very formal, very smart, very successful businessman. He's very wealthy, very well put together. He always looks pristine, and in my head, because of that, I feel like he smells good. But he's a businessman, and his character kind of adapts as the book goes on, and we kind of learn a lot more about Andrew. And then also there's a little girl called Cecilia, who is the daughter of Nina and Andrew. And to be completely honest with you, she sounds like an absolute nightmare, and I'd hate to be her nanny. And then other than that, the only other main character is Enzo, who is the gardener for the Winchesters, because like I said, they live in a very, very big fancy mansion. He is their gardener. He's Italian, he's a man of few words, he's very strong, manly, doesn't say very much, kind of mysterious, at times a little bit, you're a bit unsure of Enzo, but he becomes a very important part of the story. So my thoughts and my review on this book, I did really enjoy it. Like I said at the very beginning, I rated it a 3.5 out of 5. I thought it was a very easy to read, fun, quick-paced book. Also, it's got, I said the pages at the beginning, I think. 328 pages. It's also got very short chapters, which I really liked, because I find it easier to read more that way. You know, if I'm tired and I'm reading in bed and I've come to the end of a chapter, but then I can see like the next chapter is only 2-3 pages away, I will probably just read another chapter because I'm enjoying the story. And that's what happened with this book, and it made it quite fast, easy to read. I can see all types of different people enjoying this book. I definitely did enjoy it. It's just that for me, the reason that I marked it 3.5 out of 5 is because thrillers and crime books are some of my favourite genre of books, and I feel like I've read a lot of really amazing, strong books within this category, and I just didn't necessarily feel that this book was up there with those others. But I did still really enjoy it, and I would recommend it to anybody who's looking for like an easy read. This would be a good book to read maybe in between much longer or heavier books. But I would recommend it for a lot of people. Just for me, it was a 3.5 out of 5, because I think as well with this story, the twists and turns are great and everything, but there are a couple that I was a bit like, and there were parts of the book that left me with more questions than answers, and I'm very much a person like I need every single tiny little thing answered. So yeah, that's where I landed on 3.5 out of 5. So the book is actually divided into 3 parts, and it does also have a sequel, The Housemaid's Secret, I'm not desperate to run and go and read that straight away, which kind of tells you something. But I did enjoy this for the most part, but maybe I'll read that in the future, but I'm just not wanting to kind of jump on that ASAP. Also, as I was saying, there were a few things in the book that didn't make sense to me, and there were a few plot holes, and like I said, times when I had more questions than answers. I've read a lot of people's reviews about this on Goodreads, and the score is pretty high on there, and some people absolutely love it. There are lots of 4.5 and 5 stars for this book, and I understand that people love it. I think it's a really interesting, fun read. It's just, for me, it wasn't up there with some of my other favourite thrillers and crime books. I did think it was fairly well written. It is easy to read, and the story was definitely interesting. It had me turning the pages very quickly. It's just that I feel like the ending was potentially a little bit rushed as well, and it was kind of like, oh, well, that's wrapped up then. And the big twist at the end, which a lot of people are referring to, that was a bit of a mic drop moment. For me, I was just a bit like, really? Oh, okay. So yeah, that's kind of where I am in this book. I did, as a whole, enjoy it though. And like I said, I would probably recommend this to pretty much anybody. I can definitely see this becoming a film, like a Gone Girl or The Girl on the Train kind of vibe. As I was reading it, I could kind of picture every scene being made into a film, and I would be so surprised if it's not, or at the very least TV drama. But yeah, that was my very quick overview, no spoilers review of The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. If you've read this book, please let me know your opinions and let me know what you think in the comments, but also don't give too much away or any spoilers for the people who haven't read it yet. If you haven't read this book and you see it and you fancy a very quick, light read, go for it, pick it up. It is entertaining. But if you're a bit of a connoisseur of the thriller genre, it's not perfect for me. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please leave me a comment. I would be really grateful if you'd like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I will be doing very quick reviews of all of the books I'm reading this year. Thank you for watching. Bye.